You in today, Joel?
What's up? How you doing?
So I am a believer in Warren Buffett. I invest in rock-solid companies. You're more Bitcoin, crazy new idea guy.
From the truth. Don't assign me a position like that.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I want to read this.
If I was involved with Bitcoin, I would have sold at 16,000, not held it until it went all the way back down to whatever it is at now.
All right, crazy new idea guy. Here's Joel Klatt talking. Is this a Denver Post or the New York Post?
New York Post.
Okay, it's the New York Post. I'm going to read this. It's a newspaper out east. A lot of people read it. Quote, I think that teams are starting to get burned by retaining their old school values when it comes to player evaluation, says the Klatster. I just think that old school mindset has to adjust because the NFL has adjusted it for them. I understand why somebody would think that way. I disagree with it. Klatt on why he loves Kyler Murray, who is 5'9" and has bulked up to 205.
Okay, great. Are we rebounding? Are you telling me that the game of football right now at the quarterback position is really played in three veins? Can you distribute, on time, and on target? Those are the three things that you've got to do. And Kyler Murray does those better than any other quarterback available in this draft.
If he can see over the line.
He doesn't need to.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter. Those guys are only 6'7".
First of all, there's only a very select few, a handful of guys. Listen, you can be 6 foot, 6'1". I'm right about 6'1", 6'2", even, and not see. The linemen are like 6'5". Okay, so it's a huge myth that it's like, well, if you're 6 foot, you can see. If you're 6'1", you can see. No, you can't. You throw to spots. You anticipate windows. You anticipate windows based on the 22 chess pieces that are on the field. So don't give me this. You got to see.
Hey, by the way, you played baseball.
Yeah.
You can tell me about your slitty and your split-fingered. If you can throw 97 and the guy can't contact. Kirk Schilling was I'm going to throw it by you guy. That's why he was great in the postseason.
Okay.
Tim Wakefield was you ever notice Tim Wakefield in the postseason? Not very good.
Yeah, because Greg Maddox threw it so hard.
By the way, that Braves won championship, best staff for 20 years.
Maddox is the greatest modern-day pitcher in history.
Oh, Lord. There were years I didn't like him as the best pitcher on his staff.
Oh, you are so out of touch.
Oh, you're like
the Giants right now. A segment ago, you're railing on them holding on to Eli. You're like, oh, congratulations, Eagles. Congratulations, Cowboys. And now you're sitting there, you're like, I'm Dave Gettleman. You got to be 6'5".
No.
I don't understand this. Because, listen, you understand that the game of football right now is played in those three veins. Can you distribute on time and on target? There's no one that does that better than Kyler. I'm not saying he's historically great,
first
by
of all,
the way. He's just the best available quarterback in this draft.
This quarterback class is average.
Yeah.
The Giants made a massive mistake. Last year, we had 4 guys, 5 guys, and they can all play.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
This is not a great class.
You can disagree with the Giants' philosophy a year ago and love Saquon Barkley, which I do. He's a deserving Rookie of the Year. He's a phenomenal player. I think he's a foundational piece. But running backs don't impact your win-loss column like quarterbacks do. Therefore, the Giants made a massive mistake last year, and I think they're going to make a massive mistake this year by just writing off Kyler Murray based on his height.
Okay.
And you're doing the same thing.
I'm not writing him off. I think he's an NFL player. I think in this really weak I only like 2 guys in this entire quarterback class.
I'm with you on that. Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray are my favorite 2 guys.
Yeah, Haskins is a true pocket guy, almost unathletic. In fact, my knock on him is when he moves, his accuracy dips dramatically.
Footwork is certainly a question. I think that he's a developmental guy. He needs to go in under a coach and maybe a starter that can allow him to develop a little bit. My thing with that is there's nobody in this draft at that position except for Kyler Murray that makes your team better the first day he steps on it.
Arizona, you have the pick. GM, do you take him?
Absolutely.
What do you do with Josh Rosen?
I trade him to New York because they're hung up on height. That's what I would do. And here's why. Because I think quarterbacks in the modern day NFL, and I think Brady and Belichick, you can say that they're not modern. They're absolutely modern. They're maybe more modern than anybody in the game. Why? Because they are so agile in terms of their schematics. Think of how how many different styles of schematics they've used to win Super Bowls, and they continue to morph and adjust based on what the league gives them, based on what their roster gives them, and they go out there and win. That match is made in heaven, not because just Brady is great or just Belichick is great, but they're great for each other. Brady doesn't care the style that he uses to go win. He can throw it to Moss, he can throw it to Welker, he can throw it to Edelman. Belichick, by the way, requires that out of his quarterback. So my whole contention is, if you're Cliff Kingsbury, it's not about you. It's about the match. You've got to have a guy that's going to take what you believe and go put it out there on the field to the best possible efficiency that he possibly can. And I think that's Kyler. I know what Cliff runs. Kyler fits what he does perfectly. That's why he recruited him to Texas A&M before he went to Texas Tech in the first place.
But what I am saying is, we're throwing out size. Again, you're a baseball pitcher. If I said, okay, I'm going to ask you that. You have to be honest with me.
Okay.
None of this just throwing stuff into the ether like you're some crazy radio voice. This is real journalism.
Big J journalism.
This show is about getting it right all the time.
That's right.
So if I said to you, any pitch in baseball,
okay,
any pitch, if I said, God gave you one great pitch, what would it be?
Slider.
Oh, give me a break. How many? You wouldn't take a 98-mile-an-hour fastball?
Do you know how many guys throw 98? All of them. All of them. Go to any AA game or high single-A game.
No,
out
I have a social life. I don't do that.
Every single one of them is Nuke LaLoosh, throwing at guys' heads. They're hitting the bull. They all throw 98.
Maybe you should go to fewer AA baseball games.
That's your problem. I wish I could have. That was my problem. Is I was in far too.
So you're just what I'm saying is you're just throwing height out.
Everybody throws 98, but the ability to control a slider is what gets people out. You have to have an out pitch. Just like as a quarterback, it doesn't matter how tall you are, how hard you throw it. It matters how you distribute the ball on target and on time. That's how Drew Brees. So, are you telling me that you wouldn't have taken Drew Brees? You wouldn't have taken Russell Wilson?
Everybody's a genius now with Drew Brees. Everybody's a genius now with Brady and Russell Wilson.
But that's what broke the mold. Why would you stay in some old mold that wouldn't have valued Russell Wilson or Drew Brees? No. Clearly, the modern-day NFL is different. Patrick Mahomes is not a giant.
He's 6'2.5", 220 with a cannon.
I mean, I think 6'2.5" is generous, but Kyler Murray is an anticipatory thrower. There has never been a better running quarterback come into the NFL draft.
Is he better than Lamar Jackson?
Absolutely, in every facet. He's a better runner, he's more dynamic, and he's a much better thrower of the football.
I agree with that.
I think he's better on both accounts than Michael Vick, who was a unanimous #1 overall pick.
Oh, come on, slow down.
Michael Vick had a really strong arm, a howitzer. Okay, Josh Allen-esque. I mean, this dude could throw it. But as a runner and a passer, Kyler is better than Michael Vick was. There's no question. Go watch.
Joel.
Go watch.
Joel.
What?
Hey, this isn't chapstick and sausage fingers in the morning in Clovis, New Mexico. This show's a big deal.
Have you guys watched Kyler run?
Come on, everybody at Oklahoma, every quarterback Lincoln Riley's had is amazing. Go to East Carolina; those guys were great. Lincoln Riley's amazing.
I'm not talking about that. And no, those guys did not distribute like Baker. Listen, you fought me on this a year ago.
Baker, Kyler Murray.
I would take Baker.
I would too.
He's more accurate with the football, but that doesn't mean that Kyler is not
And he's bigger
accurate.
and stronger and thicker.
That doesn't matter. How many devastating hits are quarterbacks taking now versus what they did 10 and 15 years ago? Nate, I tell you what, you go watch all the tape of Kyler Murray and show me the last time he took a devastating hit.
Hey.
Oh, it doesn't happen because he's quick as a kid.
No, it doesn't happen because he's playing Texas Tech.
And the whole Michael Vick thing, Joy, it's absolutely
it only takes
true.
One devastating hit in the NFL.
It's absolutely true that Kyler is a better runner than Michael Vick was.
Oh,
and he's a better passer than Michael Vick was as well.
Lordy.
Vick had a really strong arm.
This conversation is giving me anxiety.
You guys are so hung up on his height that you're not even seeing the clear things that are sitting in front of you.
You know what you remind me of?
Get some of those Michelin wiper blades right now, please.
No,
because you need them.
You remind me of every girl that dumped me. They would always come up to me and say...
they were so smart. Look at you.
No, they would come up and they would say, he has a nice personality. What they wanted was the hunk with cheekbones. It matters. In the end, that guy always comes up and the girl's like, oh, I like the guy with the personality and he likes animals and he's so sweet. And then they go off with the hunk. Why? Because it matters.
I don't know what's happening here. All I know is Michael Vick transformed the league And
yes,
why do we always do this? He's not played 1 second of NFL football.
If Michael Vick and Kyler Murray,
when they were coming out,
if Kyler Murray and Michael Vick,
there was a clear preface to what I was saying. Kyler in college was a better runner than Vick was at Virginia Tech. It's true. Listen, go watch it. You're so hung up on 5'9", you can't even see anything in front of your face right now. Get out of the fog. Both of you.
I don't even care. I don't care about his height. I was just telling Colin, his height and his weight don't matter to me. You're not going to change his body type. So stop selling me on the fact that it doesn't matter. It does matter a little bit, but sell me on what he does other than his height and weight. What is his, how accurate is he?
He's very accurate.
The running part of it doesn't matter to me
He's the most accurate quarterback in this draft. He's also, with his height that you guys keep knocking, and I get it, you're not as big of a knock on his height. He's also the guy in this draft of those top quarterbacks that had the least amount of passes batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's a good
Dwayne
one.
Haskins only had 5 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage.
That's your bet. Took us 38 minutes to get to your lead. That's your best one right there. The first 37 minutes was height doesn't matter in the NFL.
And you're over here talking about cheekbones and puppies. I don't understand what's going on.
The hell's going on with this show?
Goodness gracious.
Clovis, New Mexico's best rock. I'm exhausted from you.
I am exhausted. I feel like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids right now.
Okay, get out of here. Joe Klatt, Fox. Hey, when's the draft anyway? April 21. Can't wait for it. God,
I can't wait for it either. It's in Nashville, which I'm super excited about.
Oh, what a great city that is.
Yeah, can't wait to get down there.
All right. Good stuff. Joy Taylor with the news.
Kyler Murray.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
I have to calm down from that.
I know. Blood pressure.
I third that. You all need to calm down. Open your eyes.
It's Thursday, April 25th is the NFL draft. Okay. All right, so LeBron hasn't missed the playoffs since 2005, but the Lakers are heading into the final stretch with a real possibility of missing the postseason. And on Saturday, LeBron called his teammates out for lack of urgency following the Pelicans' loss and said injuries have hurt the Lakers' chemistry. Well, an anonymous league executive took exception to that and told Bleacher Report he killed the Lakers' chemistry. He shouldn't have been so public about it. Even during the All-Star draft, he laughed about wanting Davis to be his teammate.
I don't think it helped. I think the executive, I don't know if killed's a little strong, but I don't think he helped it. They're 3-7 since all the fun and rumors came out. And by the way, about half those games have been against Memphis and the Pelicans.
I mean, it's interesting. It's what I talked about when we coming back out of the All-Star break. I don't know how you just forget everything that you just went through on a human level. We talk about talent and injuries and all of that, but to me, there is a human element that we ignore when it comes to these situations. Already going into the season, you didn't really have a sure idea of what this team was. You knew there was going to be some growing pains, and you knew they had to get another player. But then this Anthony Davis thing happened, and it was as if, like, if this doesn't happen, there is no other option. And it didn't happen. And in the process of it not happening, your entire young core was served up on a platter as if they did not contribute anything to the team. Now, whether that's a part of the business or they're grown men or not, there is a human element to detaching to something that you feel like is about to be taken away from you. And then all of a sudden you have to reattach to it. And not only reattach to it, you have to completely lock in and get into make it to the playoffs mode. So I don't think that that's an entirely untrue statement. So Luka Doncic has, without a doubt, been the NBA's top rookie this season.
Yes.
And despite Dallas's disappointing season, all eyes have been on Luka. And he isn't quite embracing the attention, according to his coach, Rick Carlisle. Carlisle said, I haven't seen, and I wasn't with Cleveland when LeBron James was drafted, so I don't know what it was like when the bus would pull up at 2 a.m, but this has been a zoo, but he's not looking for the attention. Luka has had an incredible season, though.
He is I was talking to an NBA scout about a week ago, and I asked him about him, and he said, listen, he is just a scorer.
Yeah.
And in Europe, he played with older, more physical players, and it got him ready for the NBA. He is just one of those guys. You know, I'm not going to compare him to Larry Bird, but I remember when Larry Bird came into the NBA, and it was just left hand, right hand. Larry just scored, and it was just anything that was close dropped in, and Luka's got a beautiful touch. He can shoot at three.
He's really fun to watch.
He's fun to watch. He's going to be a star, and it's, you know what? I've been saying this for years. I've never understood why NBA stars don't go to Dallas. Middle of the country, no state tax, very smart progressive owner. cool city for a young guy. I want to see Dallas be decent again, and they found their star.
Yeah, and if you compare LeBron's rookie season to Luka's rookie season, Luka's actually having a little bit better of a season. His shooting percentage is higher. He has more rebounds. They have the same points, and he's averaging a little bit less assists.
The league's gotten much more favorable to offensive players.
I don't want to put any kind of extras on it. We're just doing comparisons.
I know, but it is a little easier league to score than it was 16 years ago. That's all I'll say.
I'm excited about it. I'm glad that they have him. He's an exciting player. Finally, with 9 seconds to go and his team holding a 9-point lead over the Mavericks, Clippers head coach Doc Rivers called a timeout that confused everyone in the arena. And then instead of bringing his team to the bench, he took out the microphone and started chanting Dirk. And it was a nice tribute to Dirk's career in what's suspected to be his final season and his last appearance in the Staples Center. So here's the video of that.
Doc is on the mic, giving it up to Dirk. Wow. I've never seen this before.
You have been around this game a long time. We both have, and that is a first.
That is pretty classy stuff by Doc Rivers.
Yeah, Dirk's a good dude.
It's a really nice moment, and you could tell that Dirk's getting really emotional there. Yeah. Kind of trying to hold back losing it. But Dirk hasn't yet announced that he's hanging it up after this season. I mean, everyone's treating it as if it's his last season, but he hasn't officially said he's retiring after this season.
Two of the cool, you never think of Texas as a basketball state. Two of the kind of most gracious, classy stars ever are Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki. And by the way, Akeem Olajuwon, 3. Like, if you just say Akeem, Dirk, and Duncan, nobody would ever say a bad word about any of those guys. Those are David Robinson's another.
Yeah,
Texas does NBA stars well. They're just good dudes. They're like, maybe they know they're in a football state. Well,
you also just think of like consistency when you think of them.
Rock solid guys that everybody in the league love. Akeem, Dirk, Duncan. Who was the other one? Who did I leave out?
David Robinson.
And David Robinson, the Admiral, of course.
Yeah, it was a nice moment.
Yeah, Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.